You're listening to the Holistic Spaces podcast brought to you by Mindful Design Feng Shui School, episode 356 Holiday Healing with Feng Shui. Welcome to episode 356 of the Holistic Spaces podcast, where we hope to inspire, educate, and empower you to create your own holistic spaces that nurture and resonate with you. Angie Cho and Laura Morris are the founders of the Mindful Design Feng Shui School and authors of Mindful Living, a guide to the everyday magic of Feng Shui. We teach Feng Shui online at mindfuldesignschool.com. You can sign up for our newsletter, for special free content, workshops, events that are only available to our newsletter subscribers. Visit mindfuldesignschool.com/join. So we're entering the winter holiday season, and our most favorite holiday in the season is Lunar New Year. And every year for Lunar New Year, we hold a ceremony and we talk about all the zodiac animals and we talk about the chi of the year. So we do talk about the podcast, but we go into more depth and we add feng shui in, and we have this like really wonderful gathering on around Lunar New Year. And we also have a course that's connected to that, which gives you a lot of videos and instructions on how to prepare your home for the Lunar New Year. So that's available now for purchase on our website. You can visit mindfuldesignschool.com, and it's called our New Year's Reset Package. And you can click through to our courses. And it's one of our popular courses that we teach every year. So many people come back. So we hope you'll join us again to welcome the chi of the horse for 2026 and say goodbye to the energy of the snake from 2025. And we also, of course, we've been doing this for the last few years, doing a winter retreat, a winter feng shui retreat for our newsletter
Online.
subscribers.
Online retreat.
Online retreat. Yeah. For our newsletter subscribers. You know, last year was really magical. I mean, so many people were just like really impressed, especially with the stuff that Laura put together. They're like, oh my God, I love this thing that you did. I'm like, oh, that was Laura. So if you guys were a part of that, we're going to do something again, but you need to be on our newsletter list to take advantage. So it just comes into your inbox. So make sure you join our newsletter list to make sure it's not going to spam. You can join by visiting mindfuldesignschool.com/join. And also, just before Lunar New Year, we start our new certification class. So the class of 2026 will begin, and we will welcome 20 some new feng shui practitioners into the world next year. So we hope you'll join us for that. If that's something that you've been longing to do, that you've been thinking a lot about, now is the time. Here's your clue from the universe. So back to this winter holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
The winter holiday season can be magical. It can be an exciting time. It can also be a stressful one. So you're traveling, hosting, you have packed schedules, a lot of family time. It could put a big strain on your relationships, your finances, and your patience. So we love to examine how feng shui principles can actually help you navigate these challenges. So we put together some of our best tips to help you find more healing, more ease, and more support in this holiday season using the principles of feng shui. So, our first suggestion is to slow down. Slow down and shift your chi to match the chi of winter. The chi of winter is slow, it's yin, it's an invitation to slow down, both physically, because you're staying inside a lot. The weather outside is so cold. And I'm from California, so I'm still like not cool with the cold weather in New York City. And I can't imagine how cold it is where Laura lives. How cold does it get over there?
It depends, but we can get down. I'm going to be all like Celsius about this, but it gets down like minus 35 some couple days.
And
It gets
freezing
cold.
is 0, right?
Freezing is
Celsius.
0. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it overlaps a little bit, but it gets really, really, really cold. In Jan and February. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty freaking cold out,
Yeah.
and depending on where you are, but even actually in California, they also think it's cold. They're like out there in their Uggs and shorts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's adorable.
yeah, but Also, depending, no matter what the weather is like, it's an invitation to examine from a feng shui perspective this winter energy and this winter chi. So, emotionally, physically, how can you also slow down? In feng shui, winter is considered the most yin season. And yin energy is dark, it's passive, it's internal, just like on winter solstice, it's the longest night of the year. So it's a lot of that darkness. And it makes sense that winter is a yin season because, winter solstice is the darkest day of the year with very few hours of sunlight. And just, as a contrast, yang is the most sunny. So summer solstice would be in the northern hemisphere, the most yang day of the year. And almost all cultures have some kind of celebration that takes place during this darkest time of year, this winter solstice. And it's really a celebration, a gathering that many cultures do at this time of year to acknowledge that another year has passed on the lunar calendar and on the Gregorian calendar this time around the winter solstice, because the winter solstice is connected to when lunar new year happens, actually. So that's why Laura and I do a lot of practices for our community, our newsletter community, between winter solstice and lunar new year. So, we can celebrate that another year has passed in this winter season, this yin season, and celebrate the fact that we can, after the solstice, actually the days get longer and we move towards the hope of spring, the hope of growth, the hope of new beginnings.
And one thing you can play around with or invite as one of our tips in order to find more healing at this time of year is to balance this cold, this darkness, this yin. And a lot of these celebrations that happen, and it happens through so many different cultures, this midwinter, stuff that's happening, or, there's a lot that happens kind of around that 2 week mark, and there's lots going on. Is you can think of things like Yule logs and lighting candles and displaying festive strings of light. And each culture has its own way of doing it. But, fundamentally, what it comes down to is the idea of bringing in that and observing that light within this coldest, darkest time, and working with two elements. One is water, which is cold and dark, and the other is fire, which is bright and warm. And that can be a way for you to invite a little bit of healing in yourself as well as warming up your space.
Another way to connect with the yin energy of winter is to slow down by starting a meditation practice or restarting your meditation practice or deepening your meditation practice, whatever is applicable for you. And if you're new to meditation, just keeping it simple, like sitting and focusing on your breath, your inhale and your exhale for 5 minutes a day is a great place to start. It doesn't have to be complicated. And, in this day and age, there's so many resources available for those who want to deepen or start or reinvigorate their meditation practice. So this is a great time in this winter yin season. In addition, so if we focus back on this holiday healing and more ease, during these busy times of the holidays, you can also use feng shui to harmonize for more ease with your family, to help to support and possibly lessen family tension or help you handle it better. So there's actually 3 areas of the Feng Shui Bagua map that you can work with to create a family harmony. So in Feng Shui, we don't talk about it a whole lot on the podcast because it's very visual, but if you go to our YouTube channel, if you look for the Holistic Spaces podcast on YouTube, you can see, because I'm going to hold up a Bagua map. So we have a Bagua map that we use, a Bagua mandala in Feng Shui, and it's 8 areas around a center. And if we work with 3 of those areas, you can work with activating some harmony with the family that could help you harmonize and support any kind of family tension, especially at this time of year during this holiday season. So, if you are not familiar with the Bagua map, we always have in the show notes a link to download our free Bagua e-kit, and you'll find it. So download it so you know what we're talking about. It's hard to kind of explain without the visual.
Yeah, it doesn't make
So
for good podcasting, but still, it is. And also, if you do have a copy of our book, you can open that right now
Mhm.
and follow along.
Yes. So there's different areas, and so the areas we're talking about are one is called New Beginnings, and it's green.
And
And
we call it in our book, we call it growth.
thank you. I was just gonna ask you because I don't have
Mm-hmm.
my cheat sheet on that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's called Growth, but it's the green area, and then the
Mm-hmm.
next area is the pink area. It's called Nurture in our book. It's also related to partnerships, relationships, romantic relationships, and it's the pink area. And then the third area is gray, and it's called Benefactors, also
And it's
helpful people,
alignment.
and it's
Alignment.
alignment in our book. Lord, you have a good memory. I have a horrible memory.
Remember how we wrote it together? You remember how we wrote that?
I do,
I'm
but
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
so I think you took the lead on the names too.
Sure, 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 sure. Let's
Um,
go with that.
so so you can activate these 3 areas simultaneously because actually the green area, new beginnings and family and growth represent the family or
Mhm.
the children, or not children, it's his family, sorry. And then the pink area represents the mother also, and that's called nurture or relationships or partnerships. And then the gray area represents the father or the masculine element, which is also called alignment or benefactors or helpful people. So you'll be activating these 3 areas, and this will be a great way to create some invisible harmony within the home. So, how do you do that? We'll give you
I was thinking we give them, like, because it's the season, we'll give
Mhm.
them 2 options, but both around wood element.
Okay. So, one option is to place a new living green houseplant in each of these 3 areas of your home, if you know how to lay the Bagua in your home, or in your bedroom. And the other option is to, instead of a living green plant, you can use seasonal greenery like a piece of like a pine branch in water, or maybe a sprig of mistletoe, who knows? Or a cedar.
Mhm,
And you can put it in like a vase of water, or you can
mhm,
maybe take a red ribbon, a 9-inch long red ribbon, and tie a little bow and hang it from the wall.
mhm.
And you do this with the intention that you're offering ease and harmony between the family members through everyone in the family. So this is actually a feng shui adjustment that I did when I was getting married. So to create more family harmony, because marriage weddings are also a
Mhm,
moment of family tension
mhm.
sometimes. So this is a great one.
Yeah, so, just to recap, because it's a lot, and I'm gonna simplify it, just in the pink, green, and gray areas of the Bagua, and you're gonna align those with your house overall, possible. You are going to place the same thing in each of those areas, somewhere within that area. It can be a plant, or it could be, as Angie said, which I think is a really great idea, is a sprig hanging that you can put it on the wall, which is super easy. It's a more advanced cure, and it actually is moving into territory that we teach. We get a little bit more advanced, and just a little side tip is that each of the 5 elements, or well, at least each of the 4 of the elements have their own harmonies, and that's something you learn in the certification. Anyway, okay,
Yeah. Oh, wait,
next.
I have one more comment. So if you
Okay,
do the sprig,
yes.
when the sprig of like cedar or pine has, or juniper has expired, then you can let it go. So
Yes.
this is just through the holiday season.
Yeah, that's a good note. That's a good point. Yeah, you want it to keep that life energy, that greenery. So finally, what we thought we would sort of close on is to talk a little bit about some ways that you can reset after a hectic and stressful energy of the home, or better to think of it as a way to help you and your home heal. And one way, which is very popular but also important, is to space clear. And space clearing, for those of you, many of you know this, and many of you have your own practice of space clearing, but it is when you help to clear the energy and harmonize the home. And it especially works well when you have lots of different types of energy coming into your home. So you might have lots of people in your home that you don't usually have, more than normal. You have many family visiting, and we all can appreciate that there's different personalities and different dynamics. That may be something that you prefer to maybe just reset after. Also, people are bringing items into your home. There's lots of activity overall. So, in these kind of times of activity and, movement, and again, lots of different personalities, space clearing is one way to reset. It's like to push the reset button. And what this means is it leads to a bit of an energy imbalance. It could be a little more yang, or a little more yin energy, or even more different types of chi that can enter in during this time. So we have some of our favorites, and what we'll do is we're going to talk first about one that especially works nicely at this time of year, and Angie will begin.
How to use oranges for space clearing. So, oranges are one of our favorite tools in Feng Shui. The color and shape of oranges are associated with abundance, like gold coins, and they resonate with the energy of yang. So, it's a yang energy, like the sun, which is clearing and purifying. So, one way to work with oranges in your home during the holidays is to simply place a bowl of fresh oranges out on the counter for you and your family and guests to enjoy. And you can add in the auspicious number 9, keeping 9 oranges in your bowl at a time. And yes, you can eat them. So when you eat them and enjoy them, you can peel the orange and visualize you're clearing the space with the invigorating and uplifting energy of the orange peel.
One of my favorites also is you can simmer orange peels or orange slices with other spices. This is actually in our book. There's a longer, more, sort of expansive version of this. But basically, taking oranges, slicing them, adding spices that you like from your cupboard. It could be cinnamon sticks, cloves, whatever scent that is festive for you or that you love. And when you do this on your stove, when you simmer this on your stove, not only are you clearing it, but you're also using the symbol of wealth and abundance in feng shui, which is the stove, and to invite even more energy in at this time of your life.
And finally, another way to use oranges for space clearing when you're traveling is to bring some travel sized orange essential oil mist. So you can put a few drops of orange essential oil in a misting bottle, a travel size, travel friendly misting bottle with some vodka or gin or just water. And you can bring that with you and mist that around the space that you're staying out. And it's also a really wonderful gift to maybe offer if you're staying with someone fresh oranges. So then you would have the fresh oranges there in the home as well. You can also travel with clementines or something as well.
hmm Okay, and then the last two ways for space clearing. One we talked a little bit about. I'm going to just kind of go over these pretty straightforward way. We are going to talk about the wood element, and the wood element is, why is it so perfect for this time of year and for harmonizing? Is wood element is about compassion and flexibility, and it is connected to the family gua as well. So bringing in wood element scents like cedar, pine, rosemary, this can be a really fun and festive way to clear the energy during the holidays, and it's really accessible at this time of year as well. There's also this added symbolism for evergreens of longevity, resilience, and steadfastness. So you have that a bonus, and you can even, drill down a little bit more in terms of what each of the greenery means. And we have, again, a lot of symbols in our book. And one note is, if you can, try to bring in the real thing into your home. Yes, you can purchase some and I know this question will come up, some artificial ones, and you're getting the green color and you're getting the idea of it. But there's something about maybe just for a little while bringing in wreaths or bows to decorate your space. Now, if you're obviously allergic or you can't use this, then maybe incorporating it the same way you would with an essential oil that can really bring in that scent of wood element. And then the last but not least way to clear and to sort of heal and reset your home after everyone is gone is sweeping. I know this sounds really basic, but sweeping is actually quite an ancient way and across many cultures of moving and removing stale, stagnant, or negative chi. The key is you're not just sweeping away dirt and debris. You're also moving energy around or moving stagnant energy out. And you want to make it a ritual. So you want to start by setting an intention. You can just use whatever broom you have. And as you sweep, you're going to visualize letting go of what does no longer serves you or what you no longer need in your home. And as you sweep, visualizing that you're removing old and stagnant chi, you are creating, and as you sort of push it out that door, you can open your door if you want, you can sweep it right out the door. And you can imagine that now you've created space to fill with new energy and new opportunities. So that is the space clearing. Angie, do you have anything else to add?
Just that we hope these tips will help you create a healing and supportive space for all of your holiday festivities this season. And Laura and I thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Holistic Spaces podcast. You can tune in every Monday for a new episode. If you like our podcast, share it, subscribe, leave a review, join our mailing list. You can join our mailing list by looking in the show notes. There's somewhere I'm sure you can click. Or you can also visit mindfuldesignschool.com/join. You can also see us on YouTube. So you can search for the Holistic Spaces podcast on YouTube. And if you're on our newsletter, you can also join some of our upcoming courses. We'll have a free winter retreat, online retreat just for our newsletter subscribers. We'll have our Lunar New Year offering to welcome the year of the horse. And we have our certification course. So we have a few things up there. Hope you'll check it out. We hope we'll meet some of you in our courses. And thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.